Good afternoon, my name's Ryan Willard and I'm an architect, and I'm here in the heart of Harlem along 124th Street, and I'm sitting in front of these beautiful New York brownstones, the vernacular architecture, the vernacular housing that we see cropping across the New York, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, all over the place. And what I'm actually sitting on here is the steps that lead up from the street to the front door, called a stoop. And this word stoop comes from the Dutch word stoep, which literally just means step. And it's a really kind of, it's one of these iconic architectural features of New York that's been made famous in films. You see the kind of romantic scenes of the guy dropping off the girl to her home, or from kind of cultural icons like the Art Kane photograph of Harlem with all the sort of great jazz musicians of the 1940s. It's one of these interesting kind of hangovers from Dutch architecture, where they would have 400 years ago, when they first came to Manhattan and settled down here and started building their homes, they would have had a vernacular of architecture of building their houses on stilts, and they would have always had these kind of stoeps, these steps leading up to them, and it was literally just something that kind of got inherited and became part of the New York vernacular and embedded into the architecture. And what's interesting for me, being someone who's designed a lot of housing, is the social function of the stoop. And often it becomes a real place of community. In the 1920s, it's quite not uncommon to see those photographs of people selling newspapers on the stoops. Now it's a place for meeting, for gathering, or just for hanging out. There's already a couple of people, earlier on, just sitting here and just using the stoop as a social space just to meet your neighbours. And it has that kind of, the eyes on the street. It gives the buildings, the housing, a way of self-policing themselves by creating that community. So, and I know that it's something that's probably under threat now for accessibility reasons, but it is a beautiful feature of all these buildings, and has a great social function. So I shall leave you again with some images of the stoop.